All right. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Engel. I am the president of the Ward 6 Democrats, and I wanted to thank all of you for taking some time to be with us this evening for our Meet Your MOCRS virtual event. The genesis of this idea was that the Ward 6 Dems officers realized that we know of the existence of the mayor's office of community relations and services and the MOCRS, Marcus and Jake, but even we were not entirely certain what they do, how they can help us, what the services are that they perform in the community. And we figured we were probably not alone. If we had those questions, probably some of you did as well. So we decided that it would be a good idea to get our MOCRS, Marcus and Jake, here with us this evening, and find out a little bit more about what it is they do. And so thank you to both of you for being able to join us. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Erin Sheehan, who is the Ward 6 Dems event chair, and she's going to be our facilitator this evening. So Erin, take it away.
Amazing. Thank you. Like Elizabeth said, my name is Erin Sheehan. I'm the events chair for the Ward 6 Dems. And I'm really excited to hear from both of you, Marcus and Jake. So I think maybe how we should start off is if both of you could just do a quick introduction, maybe a little bit about your background. How did you end up in your current role? So we'll start there and I will hand it to Marcus to start.
Oh, thank you. And Erin, it's a pleasure to finally meet you virtually. Put a face with a name. So I'm happy to meet you. But good evening to everyone on the call. My name is Marcus Manning, serving as the Ward 6 MOCR with the Mayor's Office for Community Relations and Services. I am a born Washington native, born and raised right out of. I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with the area, but served some quarters. I grew up in the area my entire life. And went to Curl, got my accounting degree from Delaware State, and then after that Delaware State and my undergrad and everything, I went to get my master's in business administration at University of District of Columbia, UDC. Um, and I'm just very fortunate, definitely to be in this role, to be serving my neighborhood and just the area that I grew up in. And it's so, I talk to Jake a lot, all the time, to just let him know about the history of just Ward 6 in general. And just to see, how it transform and everything is definitely a pleasure. But I got here, I used to work at the District of Columbia Housing Authority, serving as the youth community navigator. The youth coordinator, and where I had oversight of all youth programming throughout district public housing sites, as well as some resources for our voucher assistance, our voucher recipients as well. And I stumbled across at a certain quarter safety walk, meeting the previous MOCR in this role, and she just told me about the position, told me, hey, I think you make a great candidate. And then I brought it up to our commissioner, Miss Blackson, Commissioner Blackson of 6004. And she was just in my ear. She was a big vocal point for me in this role, and pushing me to do this role. So I definitely tipped my head off to her. But, the safety walk was the icing on the cake, just to put me in some type of area at the same table of individual who worked along the mayor and just said, hey, I encourage you to work with the mayor. So I took that shot. Now I'm here, and I'm thankful to be in this role.
Great. Thank you so much. Jake, I will hand it over to you.
Yeah, my name is Jake Stolzenberg. I am the Ward 6 MOCR as well. I actually moved to DC 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago, to Ward 6/Ward 8 at the top left of Navy Yard, so it kind of counts, from New York. And ever since I joined, Marcus is the most knowledgeable person I could possibly ask for. I started this position 2 days in by myself as a basically year and a half veteran of DC. And once he joined, I felt like I'd lived here for 20 years. So thank you for that, Marcus. But before that, yeah, it definitely does help. I agree. Before that, I worked on a lot of government relations and political advocacy for Cornell University, Long Island University, intern in the Senate. I moved to DC and lobbied for artificial intelligence for a little bit, and I worked with the Department of Commerce right before this position now. The reason why I went back into community relations, because I did campaigns when I was younger, was it's grassroots is the best way to actually get things done. You would think it's lobbying, but it is on the field talking to everybody, and especially doing that for the city that I live in and the area I live in. Actually, is very gratifying and very lovely and nice. And yeah, with that, that's me and my role and my background.
Great. Thank you both so much. I feel like both of you in your answers touched a little bit on some of the work that the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services does. But could you just give maybe a broad overview of what the office does in general?
Yeah, sure. We can both. I'll start, and then Marcus will hit anything I miss. So, and also, if I sound lethargic, I've been sick for a week, so I apologize for that. So the whole point of MOCRS, the Mayor's Office of Community Relations Services, we're the eyes and the ears of the mayor on the ground. So wherever she isn't, we're basically her representative. Whatever is told to us will be told to the office, right? Like it won't fall into a well. Like the information won't disappear. It's not like calling a congressional office and it's listed, right? So whatever concern there is, if it has to do with a DC department or agency, we connect that neighbor immediately. We give them our information. They gave us theirs. They're logged in the system, and we help them. So if it's a DCHA, a housing issue, we connect them with anybody in housing, especially with Marcus's expertise. Or if it's a DPW issue, if there's boxes outside your house and it's about to storm tomorrow and you need it gone ASAP, you would call us because a 311 might take 2 days, and then we can get it done quickly. Or if you want information on public safety to get more in the weeds of it, we can possibly set up a meeting with MPD at a specific area, or you want to talk to the commander of the area, we can connect you. And yeah, so it goes from the neighbor or small businesses as well, or the ANCs to us, and then we act as a middleman, act as the, like I said, eyes and ears of the mayor, and listen and note it down and connect it with the correct DC department or any information we could provide. So if it has to do legislation as well, we'll do our research and provide that. And to wrap that all up, we also invite people to events. We go to events as the representative of the mayor, not just to be seen, but to see if anybody at these events have any concerns or would like government representation as well. So if I missed anything, Marcus, please tell me.
Yeah, Jake, you pretty much hit everything. In a big nutshell, I want to say another specific, role that we do and we serve in the community as we report to fires. So if there is a fire in the community, you may see a MOCR. Well, not may, you will see a MOCR. A MOCR will be there to assist whomever, the fire department, the displaced residents, potentially trying to get them connected with Red Cross or any other city services. Report to homicides as well, just to be boots on the ground, get a report, see what's going on, see what we potentially can help, flag it to the ANCs, just about the critical incidents that have occurred in the area, and see if we can, connect any of those resources to individuals who are suffering or, having trauma related to those incidents. But I think Jake pretty much summed everything up. So yeah.
Amazing. That is a lot of work. So it makes sense that there's two of you. Elizabeth talked a little bit about the impetus for why we wanted to do this meet and greet with both of you, but one other reason from my perspective is that prior to doing this event, we had done a few Meet Your ANC Advisory Neighborhood Commission events in each of the commissions across the ward. And I heard both of you mention ANCs a little bit, so I'm curious how you see this role differing from the position of an ANC.
That's a great question. Go ahead, Jake.
You want to take it over? All right. So an ANC Advisory Neighborhood Commission, right? That's what his Marcus. Okay. That is an elected position. So sorry, my lights are going off and there's a rainbow flashing in my face. That position specifically is an elected position in a specific neighborhood of a certain amount of population in neighborhood. I can easily just search it for you, but that's my general knowledge of that. What usually happens there, they get to not pass legislation, but they have committees, et cetera, that include zoning, that include alcohol licenses. That's one of the main ones. But for us, we're appointed, they're elected. So they're as local as it gets to being an elected official. We cooperate with them. So like we attend their monthly meetings, which happen in ANC 6, A, B, C, D, and E. We're there to discuss, what events we can have and also see what issues they have to bring to us. So we update them, they update us at the elected level.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's a variety of different roles that all serve at the ward level. So that makes sense to me. I do want to ask kind of one final question just on like the broad overview of your work. Marcus, I'll direct this one to you. Just in general, like what are the different types of things? And I think you've touched on this a little bit, but what are the types of things that Ward 6 residents could ask for help from the office, and how would they go about doing that?
Pretty much. I don't want to say anything you can think of, but pretty much anything you can primarily think of related to housing assistance, or trying to get in, in communication with someone from housing authority, or get in contact with someone from human services. We just serve as that constituent service, basically officer a little bit, to work along with our sister government agencies to connect residents to resources. So it varies. I help individuals out who are trying to get recertifications on their SNAP benefits, or they needed help with TANF. I had residents give me calls about vouchers and just needed assistance with getting that inspection date passed, or giving me a call. I'm trying to think of all of the different things. It's a lot, so my apologies. It could be related to public safety. It could be a resident say, "Hey, I'm concerned about the recent incidents that have occurred in my area," and I could just flag that over to MPD and say, "Hey, I think it may be best for us to possibly let's do a walk in this area, just to see what the residents are experiencing, and address it and share those concerns directly, just with the appropriate agencies to help out with, whether it's a street light that's out. I had several street lights that was out along Ames Place, if I can't recall, like along H Street, if I'm not mistaken. And I just called DDOT, hey, we have a sector of lights that's out. They send their street light team to come out and just try to, fix those concerns that's going on. Or I would say, anything, pretty much anything that we could assist and help out with, or try to get that resident or constituent in contact with someone to provide a service or direct service for them. But you can always get in contact with us by emailing, or by phone call. My email is marcus.manning@dc.gov, and if I wasn't mistaken, I think someone put it in the chat previously for me, so thank you so much. And my phone number, 202-538-1241. It doesn't matter what time it is, what day it is. If you got a concern, you can reach out to us. If you don't get a call back or a text right away, you will definitely get a call back in 24 hours to respond to your inquiry. Yeah, I know me and Jake, we work hand in hand, like really simultaneously. Sometimes we get a call, we get the same call, and we say, hey, did that person call you? And we just try to ping pong, just try to make sure that we're both assisting and helping out and reaching back out to our consumers.
Great. I see a comment in the chat from Jared. I mean, it makes sense. Landlord tenant issues would be something that the MOCRS would be dealing with. Jared, did you have anything you wanted to raise about that off mic or no?
If he doesn't respond, that issue, that I believe that's Ward 8, so he can email us. We can
we can connect him with his Ward 8 MOCRS.
Yeah, that's very easy for us to do.
Perfect.
Oh yes,
Jared,
and I'm sorry to cut you off, Erin. I'm sorry,
no,
Jared
go
is
ahead.
going. My apologies. I just wanted to say, for any resident that's not particularly from Ward 6 and you still want to reach out to, it doesn't matter what ward you're from, you can reach out to us and we'll definitely make sure that we connect you with the appropriate ward specialist, to assist you for that inquiry and any future inquiries that you may have.
Yep, and I can answer the question that's in the chat if you would like. about the constituent services differences in the executive and the legislative. Yeah. Okay. So the council side, they are the legislative side of the government. We are the executive side. To echo what Marcus was saying, we have connections with literally, I pulled it up right here, every single department. So if you have anything from Homeland Security, Emergency Management Agency, of an issue there, or Office of Victim Services and Justice Grants, specifically, any department. Like we don't just make sure boxes get picked up in front of house. It's every single department. So with that, that's how our connections work. With the council, they have connections, but they're not in the same branch. So it might be a little bit more difficult. They have less people there. We work with Charles Allen's office, and they're great.
Yes, very
But
great.
when people work with us, having the poll just from the executive side is convenient. So every time they get an issue, we all get looped in. But if they have their own personal connections, they can handle it as well. That's why they have a community relations division as well, or constituent services. They might be a lot better at providing information on legislation, but that doesn't mean that you can't come to us for that. You know, we can check the LIMS software for the council as well. So working hand in hand with the council is kind of how it's been. There haven't been any issues. It's not like we're against each other or anything like that. So the differences are there, but it's more of who in the government you'd rather talk to. But just from the MOCR perspective, we are in the executive office of the mayor. So when we talk to a lot of different departments, we just have the immediate connection with all of them, from previous smokers to now, to anybody in our office.
Great, thank you. I want to move on to some of both the community submitted questions that we got on the Mobilize page, as well as if anyone in this room has questions, to please feel free to ask those. So the first question that we got is from Pope Barrow, who I feel like I might see in the Zoom call. So please feel free to come off mute and expand on your question. But the question, the gist of it is just, what can residents be doing about late night noise? Is that something that you all could help with?
So you said late night noise, Erin?
Yes.
So with that particular case, we definitely can, flag that information over to MPD. But I strongly suggest definitely possibly reaching out to your ANC, because they have the ability to put some more leeway and leverage on it about the noise complaints just within it. If it's a particular business or if it's a home or anything, they can have that more leverage, put some more leverage, on that inquiry itself. But I definitely would say, we can connect with MPD. But if it's more so a public housing site, or to be exact, like a DCHA property, just flagging it to the appropriate people about what's going on and what's happening, and to have, that appropriate agency address what's going on.
Yeah, and sorry, did I interrupt somebody?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm the person who submitted that. No, this is not a question of noise coming out of a bar or facility. It's a question about once they've left and wandered around the corner to where they parked the car, then they begin to continue the party into the wee hours, 3 and 4 a.m. And sometimes it's quite loud. And I don't think it's a criminal activity that you want to call the police about. So it's just a question of, is there anything that can be done, or is it just we just have to live with it because we live in the city near a lot of bars? So I just like your opinion on that.
Yeah, so what we can do, if you contact us, we have direct communication with MPD where we could just make it aware. So if it's a location like there's I don't like calling them bike cops, bicycle police, mountain bike police, there we go. In the area, they can stay in that area right around at night. You know, if there is crime after a club on H Street, for example, they could go by, and if it's 3 a.m, they'll just ask them to leave. You know, we're not gonna tell them to go to an area to arrest people, but we'll go there and just say, hey, residents have been complaining about noise at 2. So maybe at 2 a.m, sometimes they ride over there and let them know, you know, you're being loud for all the neighbors. Can you please head out? Something like that. So if you ask us that question, you send us an email, give us a call, we would probably talk to MPD or whatever department might actually be helpful for that. And we would make them aware, and then they would give us recommendations and then let us know what they would do about it. And then we would update you. So that's
No, I
usually,
don't think you want to get. I don't think you want to get a call at 2:30 in the morning, a.m.
no. What I'm saying is, like, if you tell us midday, right? Tomorrow you give us the email. I send an email out to MPD, or I'll give them a call at 3 p.m. We ask them at potentially, hey, 2 a.m. around this time in this specific location, there's a lot of noise and a lot of issues regarding, you know, people waking up at 2 a.m. Then they will give us an update if that's something they can do, if they can bring a mountain bike police officer at 2 a.m. around this time, if it happens often, right? Not you calling MPD at 2 in the morning. So kind of just asking the mayor's office to kind of mitigate an issue rather than going to the extreme and having police come and, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's the kind of thing I want to be calling police about.
Mhm.
They have other more, drastic issues. So I'd be happy to have something done about it, but I don't want them wasting their time just quieting down a bunch of people partying at 3 a.m.
Yeah, and Barbara, I would love to connect with you. So I definitely would like to, may you, I'm not sure if you're able to use the chat box. May you please, if you can, if you are able, just may you give me a call tomorrow, so we can definitely talk to see how we can mitigate this concern. Because I definitely would love to potentially, if it's some guys or anything like that, just come out, just to engage with them and just to talk with them. Some things we can definitely just do like that, or have that direct assistance from, just MPD, just to monitor the area and just say, hey, can you just keep the noise down just a little bit? But I would love to connect with you offline.
Erin, I actually have a question for the MOCRS. So
Yes, go ahead.
when I was looking at the MOCRS website, one of the things that's kind of prominently displayed there is community walks. So it seems like that's a big thing or one of the big things that the MOCRS help organize. So Marcus, can you tell us a little bit more about community walks? What are they? What's the goal? What do they accomplish? How does one go about requesting one? Just kind of give us a little bit of background there.
So with the community walks that I think that you're seeing on the website, they're more so for, the ward by ward walks. So our office decides what's area, particularly that they would love to go to, do a community walk to address certain issues that may arise, maybe areas with high crime volumes, or areas that have an open air drug market, or you have a significant amount of abandoned buildings, a significant amount of abandoned buildings, individuals, just a lot of dynamics, or anything that's particularly going on in a certain area, particularly in the ward, that you'll love to have, just the mayor come out just to see, put her eyes and her ears on that, just to see what's going on, what our residents are facing every day, as well as our business owners, our schools, our children. And those walks are really main focus on see what can we fix? Let's have a 90-day format, a 90-day plan, and we need to get these items fixed. So I know I hate to use, I'm trying to see a walk that, because we haven't had a Ward 6 walk yet. But I hope, fingers crossed that we have a walk. I'd love to, have a walk for our ward. But those walks are really primarily, just walks to show what's going on in the area and see how we can connect with these other agencies. So other agencies are directed on those walks as well. So any agency you could particularly think of, we have MPD, we have FIMS, we have, if it's a FIMS inquiry or FIMS concern, FIMS may be there. We have DDOT, we have DOB. It's just a number of different agencies that come out to see what they can do to better that area and address that main concern. How can we get this abandoned home back fixed up or on ready to sell to someone? Or how can we turn this vacant lot into something that the community wants, working with DEMPED, or there's a number of, like I mentioned, the street lights, or it's potholes in the road, or the sidewalk is unlevel and it has a significant amount of cracks. Like for instance, the sidewalk on, it's not a sidewalk, but it's a parking lot close to Mount Vernon Triangle a little bit, located in 6E01. I can't think of the exact area, my apologies, but it's next to the Safeway. Just showing a different dynamic of things that's going on, and just having those direct agencies get their eyes on that as well. And we connect with, I'm sorry to go off topic a little bit, but with every agency, not every agency, but a particular amount of agencies, we have core team members, and those core team members represent as our direct contact with, our direct contacts with each of those agencies. So sometimes our core team members will be on those walks with their directors just to, see what's going on, and see what they can do to address it. And the MOCRS are there just to inform the mayor, this is going on in our area, this is going on in our community. These are the agencies, what they have been doing. And if she sees something, she say, oh, now we need to get that fixed, or that needs to be fixed, or we need to get something in order around this. There's a 90-day timeline for agencies to come in to address those concerns that we, do on those walks. So, and walks is also just to be in the community, give our community members, this is the most important part to me, giving our community members a chance to connect with the mayor, to meet the mayor, to voice their concerns about what's going on, through us. But it's also a chance to showcase, what's happening in your ward, so I think that's a very positive aspect from the office. And I can say before joining the MOCRS, I didn't know that the mayor had walks in the community. So once I came on board and actually saw it, it's been a great opportunity, for me, I want to say.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think those opportunities to have both the mayor and folks from the mayor's office really on the ground meeting community members is so important. Any follow-up on that question, Elizabeth?
No, I don't think so. I think that answered it for me. Thanks.
Amazing. And then one final other submitted question that we had really was focused on maybe having some folks in their neighborhood that are unhoused, might have some health issues, mental health issues. And we're wondering what types of resources that the MOCRS could provide for community members who might want to help those individuals.
So with that particular, inquiry related to individuals suffering from, abuse or anything like that, I definitely encourage residents to definitely reach out to us so we can definitely connect them with our Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, or maybe connecting them with the DBH, our Department of Behavioral Health, or DHS, which is our Department of Human Services. And those particular three organizations, they work hand in hand to engage with, residents or constituents dealing with mental problems, and need that mental assistance. And DBH, yeah, Jake just put in the chat, they have a community response team. And all these agencies, they have actual members on the ground, like every day on the ground, night and day on the ground. That's boots and grounds, that's engaging. But I definitely encourage you to, definitely reach out to us. And I'm not sure if everyone had the chance, but this is a new thing in Ward 6. I would love to, announce this. Me and Jake just came from a press conference today related to it. Department of Behavioral Health and the mayor, they have did a ribbon cutting and a grand opening for the new DC Stabilization and Sobering Center, and that's located on 35 K Street Northeast. And the operation hours, I don't have the operation hours down, but I know they open tomorrow for official open with staff members in there. But that center will serve as a center to help anyone that's dealing with maybe substance abuse or alcohol abuse. Sorry, tongue twister. Alcohol abuse, or dealing with any type of substance that they may need to sober up and be stabilized, and they can sit inside that center for a max of 72 hours. There's a number of staff members there, doctors, nurses to assist and help those individuals with resources, and just try to help them with treatment to get back stable and sober so they can go back out and be their best selves. And it's open door policy. So no matter, I heard this from Dr. Vassar on the day in the press conference, this is definitely open door policy. No matter how many times they come, they will never turn them away. They will always be there for them. And I'm trying to forget. They will provide transportation. They'll provide transportation for individuals to get to the center, as well as is one more thing. I'm getting a little brain bluster. My apologies. The Sobering Center. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think because I was reading Commissioner Carson's comment too in the matter of speaking. So my apologies for that. But the Sobering Center is a great opportunity to encourage those individuals that's dealing with that substance abuse or maybe mental support, just need that assistance, that direct assistance. They could come to that center. And I got the thought that I was thinking about. You do not need insurance. So no insurance required. And it's a great, great, great center and a great, development that DBH is offering, to residents. So I encourage anyone to definitely reach out to us, Jake and myself, or reach out to our Ward 6 Dems, and they can reach out to us, and we can stay connected and just make sure that we assist our residents.
Yeah, that is really great to hear. I feel like there are so many great things that Department of Behavioral Health is doing recently. So really exciting to see. I want to open it up just to see if anyone else in the room right now has any questions that they'd like to ask. Okay, I can keep asking questions, but if you all have any ideas, please feel free. Type in the chat, come off mute, whatever works best. The next thing I wanted to ask about, and I feel like through the work that you've talked about here, it's just a lot of things that you all are doing. So I'd love to just hear a little bit about like, what does the day-to-day work really look like for both of you?
Well, I can let Jake, would you like to go first or?
Okay. So Monday, barring any events that we have to go to or any fires or any ANC meetings or one thing we haven't mentioned there are random community walks, like MPD has once a week in Ward 6, and some department licensing might be walking on H Street, going to different businesses, et cetera, et cetera. Barring those changes, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're usually in the office taking calls, responding to emails, doing whatever we need to do in the office. Anybody that walks in, forgetting probably a plethora of things, but that's our office days specifically. Making sure things get done, filling out any reports that we need to do, submitting anything that we have to. Tuesday, Friday, we have sweep days. So on those days, we walk around specific SMDs in Ward 6, report any problems that are in the area, meet neighbors, go to local businesses and small businesses and introduce ourselves, just build whatever rapport we need to in the area. Sometimes Marcus and I plan on going to a school. We met at Digital Pioneers with the principal and saw how we can support them or something like that. So usually, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday in the office, Tuesday, Friday, usually in the field. And sometimes we walk with ANCs during the day, and we encourage neighbors, if they would like to walk their neighborhood, to let us know, and then we attempt to plan and do that.
Yeah, Jake pretty much hit on everything. But I can say our day to day, like our normal day to day, doesn't look the same. It varies. Some days we have, or I know some days I come in and I have 20 calls all at once, and I got to make sure I make those 20 calls right back just to connect, individuals with help that they may need or assistance that they may need. And like Jake mentioned, Tuesdays on Fridays, we're normally outside in the community walking those SMDs, just trying to see infrastructure issues that's going on, or there's like I mentioned, potholes. The pavement on the road is not good that we can inform DDOT about. There's a parking sign that, you know, Miss Gladdy has been talking about getting taken down because it's expired or it's faded. You know, we try to help get connected with that, try to see how can we get that parking sign replaced and, you know, put a brand new parking sign there. Or if it's a double pole, you know, how can we get one of those poles removed? Street lights, uh, pretty much anything. You know, we try to look for any type of issue that we can submit into 311 to, you know, inform our agencies on, just for their awareness. But we also just try to make sure that we are connected. I know Jake touched on, you know, the schools. We don't just serve just residents. You know, anybody in Ward 6, whether you're a business, school, nonprofit, and you need just help and assistance, or maybe just want to make a connection and invite us out, feel free. You know, we love to connect with individuals to see how we can connect resources, but most importantly, see what's going on in our areas. You know, how can we form that rapport and relationship with individuals to, you know, build that trust and inform us on what's going on. You know, I want to be that speed dial call for every resident, you know, and I think that's the goal, because we should be connected and residents should know about us. So I think, you know, definitely want to thank you.
Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, sorry. And sometimes when we get information on the days we're in the office, like is an alleyway in 6C, so A and C 6C, where there were a lot of needles there for drug use, or if there's an encampment and someone might be dealing with a mental health issue, which is where I put the number for CRT. If you don't want to call the police and someone needs mental health help, then I would call that number. But yeah, so if there's specific locations where we will engage with people or look and see for ourselves, we usually do that on sweep days as well.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. I'm just going to ask a few more questions. This is kind of a two-part question of like the challenges and maybe rewards of this work. So let's start with the negative. What are, I think, some of the most challenging parts of this work for both of you?
For me, I definitely wouldn't say there is no negative challenges. But some challenges is, you know, just working with individuals who may have been trying to get some assistance for so much, you know, a long period of time. And we know that can add to frustration, that can add to, you know, build up passion behind something that hasn't gotten addressed. So sometimes just working those difficult cases, I know I can't even I'm trying to think of a difficult case that Jake and I both went through, but I can't even think. I know Jake probably, you know, he may have one. But yeah, it's very, I want to say, not complicated, but in a sense of feeling and being sympathetic for that resident and see what's going on, and just trying to encourage them to let them know, hey, you know, I'm working on it. I'm working to address it. I understand your pain. I understand what you're going through. And just try to see it from their point of view and understand what they're feeling. I think that's the most, not challenging. I came from DC Housing Authority, so it's very easy for me to understand individuals and be connected with them. So it's not really challenging to me. It's just more so, you know, just creating that trust and building that trust and regaining that trust again. Even though I know previous MOCRS been in the role, previous MOCRS probably had assignments, or I'll say cases that they were unable to complete, and it transitioned over to us. And that resident is still feeling the same way from the previous, previous cohort. That's totally fine. I understand it, but I'm still here to assist and help you out, and you know, be my best self. But now I want to say the most rewarding experience. I have a number of rewarding experiences. The first is I took this road to really make an impact. And make an impact for our residents, and, you know, give back to definitely my community. So I think that's the most rewarding experience to me, to just making an impact on an individual. And I don't want to share too much details about her information, but she was a resident who came from another state and transitioned into the city and just needed some assistance in finding a home, or, you know, trying to get that home and everything. So just connecting her with Virginia Williams and them being able to provide her with that home was, you know, very, very, you know, impactful for me, you know, just to see that. And then also me being able to show kids in my community, where I come from, like, hey, I work with the mayor, so don't think that you can't do it. Anybody in our community can go anywhere, can take you anywhere. So just continue to chase your dreams, chase your goals, and use me as your motivation, pretty much to say, hey, there is hope, because in some of our areas with our young people, a lot of them are lost or not at hope, or they don't believe that they can do it because they haven't seen someone in that step. So me, it's just very impactful for me to go back around my neighborhood and sweep that area and just let them know, hey, yeah, I work with the mayor. And I had so many of my friends who watched me grow up, like, wow, like, I thought you was just at DC Housing Authority. Now you're working for the mayor. Like, that's big time. But I don't take this role for granted at all. I definitely take this role very seriously and very grateful for it. And just trying to continue to do the work for, a great administration for Mary Browser. And Jake, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I pressed the wrong button 3 times. So for me, the most challenging part, the cases that we can't solve, it's certainly possible we bring it to a department and they just simply can't do anything. Specific case, I'm obviously not going to say too specifically, but someone's trying to get rapid rehousing, constantly denied, and there's small reasons, and seeing them struggle and not being able to help them is a bit, stressful, right? Because they're a person, you're there the whole time and helping them through the process and seeing both sides and seeing why, and et cetera, et cetera. Also going to rapids. So if you go to a fire and you see the family that is no longer living at that house, it's a fairly sad experience, but it's obviously a bit rewarding when you're able to help them get a Red Cross and helping them along in that process. So yeah, that pretty much answered it, because Marcus kind of went into the details on why it's rewarding, to be honest with you, helping everybody from the ground up. It can even stem to specific issues in terms of helping someone with their boat house in the wharf, right? Like fun issues like that. Nothing of concern, and just helping them with improving their livelihood in general. And it also goes all the way down to if there's anybody that's been robbed, and connecting them with MPD and going to the walks with them and seeing that their trust in their local government is raised because of the administration as well.
And I want to touch on one last thing that's most rewarding, definitely from for me, is the ability to connect with so many government agencies, and just have that connection. Just have, hey, I have a window, of connections that, I can connect with just to find out more information about a particular agency, find out what's going on, find out how can we help each other, and just to help my understanding of, just government in the as a whole. So that's definitely rewarding to me, because I love to learn about what's going on in the different parts of the departments, because it's so amazing. We have one team member, I know Jake can touch on it, and she is just a guru for DC government. Primarily anything you can ask her, she'll have an answer to, or have a contact at a different agency for, or have the knowledge to say, no, you need to go to this certain agency. And I'm like, wow, I want to get on your level. I want to be there, just to be able to help my family members out, help residents out, help my friends out, help primarily anyone who may need that assistance of knowing, dang, who should I go to, for this inquiry, or for this help, because everyone doesn't know. You have people who may know, people who think they may know, and people who just don't know at all. So I would love to, just to gain that knowledge on. And her name is, she's our Ward 8 MOCR. I'm gonna give her a good shout out on this Ward 6 Dem. Her name is Wendy Glenn. She's amazing, and I definitely want to be on her level of just the knowledge of understanding the government.
I have so much faith that you'll get there. I do feel like both of your work takes so much compassion. So it's really great to hear about everything you do. And I think it's really exciting to help Ward 6 residents know all the different ways they can reach out to you. I'm going to close it out with one really quick, fun question before I hand it over to Elizabeth. I'd love to just hear a little bit about your favorite thing to do in Ward 6.
So I know Jake loves Ward 6, but I can definitely touch on for me. I know all throughout my life, I know every district a little bit. Dunbar is not in our area no more, so that's kind of not Ward 6. But I love to just go play basketball up at Colors or over at Walker Jones. When I was a child, but now, just sometimes just visit Haynes Point. Just even though it's little on the federal side, it's still Ward 6. Just to see the beautiful view and just sit right there. And then the last thing, Insomnia Cookies on H Street is, one of the best places to go to. So that's that's one of my favorite things to do in Ward 6.
For me, okay, let me think. There's a few. I do like, it's not my side of the ward. I usually cover A, B, and C. I do go to D and E in Ward 6, but in the wharf, I like to get crabs and go to the rooftop of my apartment and eat about 16 of them, I'd say. That is one of them. Navy Yard doesn't count anymore. I'd say usually going to H Street and using my New York arrogance and testing out pizza places and bagels, and there actually are a significant amount of good bagel places in Ward 6. Bullfrog Bagels is very good. There's one in Eastern Market and H Street. And just walking down H Street and trying a new restaurant every once in a while. I really like Stable, personally. Not to pick favorites, obviously, as this meeting is recorded. But going from there, going all the way down to 6th Street and H and just trying everything out. Lincoln Park's cool. Sorry, I'm just shouting out the entire ward right now. Barracks Row is fun. Few places I've been there. No more shout outs to anybody. I'm gonna ask for a sponsorship after this. And yeah, so just Ward 6, generally speaking, especially because I moved here less than 3 years ago. I'm still exploring myself.
There's so much to explore.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much. It was really, really great to hear more about your work. We will make sure that everyone has your email and phone number and knows how to reach out. And with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Elizabeth.
Thank you, Erin. I wanted to thank Erin and the events committee for doing the work to put this together. This is an idea that we've been percolating for a little while now, so I'm very happy that it finally happened. I want to thank Marcus and Jake, of course, for joining us this evening and sharing the wisdom of their experience and all the different wonderful ways that they are here to serve our community and to help our residents. One thing I had posted in the chat is it sounds like no job is too small for the MOCRS to care about it, and no job is too big for them to handle. And I think that's a pretty accurate reading of the situation. So thank you so much for everything that you both do for our community and for your time this evening. I also want to thank all of you for showing up this evening to learn a little bit more about Marcus and Jake and the work that our MOCRS do and how they can help you. And finally, I wanted to mention two more things. Obviously, this is being recorded. It's going to be available on our Ward 6 Dems YouTube channel shortly. So if there's anything that you want to come back to or share with your neighbors, that'll be available. And finally, we have another event going on later this week. The Ward 6 Democrats are going to be hosting the DC Democrats, which is our state party, for their general body meeting, their monthly general body meeting here in Ward 6 at the Democratic National Committee building on South Capitol Street. So the DC Democrats general body meetings, monthly general body meetings, are open to everyone. You do not have to be a formal DC Democrats elected member to attend those meetings, but we wanted to particularly extend an invitation to Ward 6 community members to come join us. So I am popping the link in the chat right now, and Erin has it too. Great, great minds think alike. Where you can go to register to join us on Thursday night. Again, It's going to be at the DNC on South Capitol Street. There is parking available there. It's also obviously close to our community and close to Metro. And the event starts at 6:30 with like a half an hour of social time, and then the meeting itself formally starts at 7. So we would love to see you there. And of course, visit ward6dems.org for any and all information about what's going on with the Ward 6 Democrats. And we hope to see you again at other events later this fall. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ward 6 Dems.